Hello, my love. I am Colette with Rich Girls Inc., making your life richer in health, wealth, relationships, and happiness through inspiration, enlightenment, and love. In this video, I just want to talk a little bit about watching people that you love deteriorate. I want to talk about my grandparents and taking care of them and caregiving and just, let you know my story about caregiving, and hopefully it offers you some encouragement and support for this if this is something that you're going through as well. So, my grandparents basically raised me. I have a huge family. I'm very fortunate, but my grandparents were retired, and my mom was a single mother. So a lot of the times my grandparents were the ones who picked me up from school, made sure I did my homework, fed me, took me clothes shopping, took me to lessons. Pretty much anything a parent would do, my grandparents did for me. They always loved me. They had nothing but unconditional love and support for me. And of course they'd get mad at me or whatever, but my grandma never failed to hug me and tell me that she loved me. She was just the sweetest, most loving grandmother you could ever possibly hope to have. And I was just so blessed to have these people in my life, through my whole life, to always have my back and support me and encourage me and help me. And I was just so blessed with these people. And about 7 years ago, they got to the point where they just couldn't take care of themselves any longer. My grandpa had Alzheimer's, and my grandmother had diabetes and heart disease, and her kidney started failing, and she was starting to have trouble walking. So I decided to help as much as I can, take care of them and live with them and just make sure that they were getting everything they needed. So the thing about caregiving is you never know how long it's going to last. You never know if they are going to leave tomorrow or if they're going to leave in 10 years. And it's a very tough thing to deal with, and especially when it's someone that you love so much. I don't know, maybe you have a friend or a mother or father or aunts or uncles or grandparents or whoever it is that this is happening with for you as well. But it's such a hard thing to just watch them forget who you are. My grandfather almost forgot who his wife was, which is crazy because his whole life was dedicated to his wife, watching them as I grew up and watching how he was with my grandmother. Everything he did was for her, and then for him to get to a point where he didn't know who she was, it was just so heartbreaking. He didn't know who I was, and my grandma started getting dementia the last year of her life too. She died about a year ago. A little less than a year ago. She died in October. And it was such a tough time in my life to deal with that, those challenges, and with her death. And my grandpa's actually still alive. I'm still taking care of him, but he's just in bed. He can't really move. It's super sad. I feel really bad. But we take very good care of him, so at least I know that we do everything we can to keep him comfortable and as comfortable as we could possibly keep him. But yeah, I went through a huge depression last year when my grandma died, and I had actually had an episode at the gym where I had decided to go on this crazy diet where I ate nothing but salad all day, and then I thought I could do 3 gym classes, and at the end of the class I felt super weak, and my blood sugar got low, and I didn't have any food with me, and I had a panic attack. And it was, I think it was like maybe my first real panic attack in my life. And panic attacks are common, they run in my family, but I had never had one. And after that, it kind of hit me that I could die. And I never worried about dying. That was never anything that I worried about. I'm not scared of dying. But I started getting scared. I'm not scared of death, but I started getting scared of like the dying process after that, because it was just such a horrible feeling. Having a panic attack, you get so out of touch with reality. You feel like you're just gonna fall over. Like you don't feel like you're in control of your body, and you just feel very light, and it's not a very good feeling. And then my grandmother died 2 weeks later, and I was just so depressed. And then I was having anxiety, and I was tired, and it was a hard time in my life. It still wasn't as bad as 2008, and I made a video about that, but it was rough. And dealing with anxiety, and anxiety has the same symptoms as low blood sugar. So I thought I had to eat. I thought I was getting diabetes. I thought I was dying all the time. I couldn't get through a whole gym class without thinking I was going to pass out. It was bad. So that lasted from October until about February. So that took, October, November, December, January, February, 4 months of that. And I was having anxiety attacks pretty much daily up until May. And if you're dealing with anxiety, just know that it will get better, and there are things you can do. I'm not a doctor, so if you can visit a doctor, I definitely recommend that. For me, I did a lot of meditation and a lot of breathing techniques, and I did a lot of research, because if you read about anxiety online, you realize that, first of all, you're not dying, that it's actually just a fear response, that our bodies are scared, and so they're giving us this fear response, because even though there's not a real fear, in our head it's a real fear, and so our body responds as if there's a real threat, even though there isn't one. And so just knowing that if I just connect to my heart and my breathing, because a lot of times when you're scared you hyperventilate, so that's one of the things that makes you feel you're going to pass out, and it makes you lightheaded. So just deep breathing in and out really helps. And just walking. Tony Robbins does a technique where he breathes 4 times, and in like 4 breaths in and then 4 breaths out as he walks and as he does his fingers. So as you take a step, you'll put your fingers together like with each step, and then you'll breathe as you're stepping and putting your fingers together. So it's like, and then out. So it really helps to connect your breath and your body, and it helps to lower your blood pressure. So for me, that's something that I would do. I would just walk and breathe like that for a few minutes, and that would help me. So just making sure that you're taking deep breaths in and out helped. And just knowing that you're in control. So one of my meditations that I did, it was a guided meditation, and she would tell you, you are in control of your body. You choose how you feel during the day. And then you do the breathing where you take a deep breath in, hold it for a count of 3, and I do it for 3 heartbeats, and then I let it out. So that's another breathing technique that I used to control my anxiety. And basically, I guess I just got tired of having it. I just decided one day that I wasn't going to have anxiety anymore. And this was after months, I just was tired. I was at an event and I was just feeling very antsy. It wasn't a full-blown panic attack or full-blown anxiety, but just that, I don't know how you feel, but for me it's like an anxious feeling, like you just want to go home. And I just decided that I was done. I was just so tired of feeling that way. And I just said, you know what, forget this. And I let it go. And I just said, I don't have anxiety anymore. I'm done. And I had to walk myself through it. I had to tell myself that, I can either live in fear every day or I can appreciate life. And I got very grateful. I got very grateful for being alive. And I decided that instead of being scared of dying, I was going to live every day in gratitude, because you can't be in gratitude and in fear at the same time. So if you're feeling scared, if you start telling yourself all the things that you're grateful for, and as you walk around, you're grateful for the sun, and you're grateful for your body, and you're grateful for everything, just start needing water and food, and just think about all the things that you're truly grateful for, then that helps with the fear. So just being in gratitude, breathing techniques. For my depression, what really helped me was getting uncomfortable. I was in London. I had taken a trip abroad over to London, and I had been kind of like just following along with the people I was with, and I wasn't making very many decisions. And I decided I wanted to do something that the rest of the people that I was with didn't want to do, and I just was walking through London by myself, and just the act of having to figure out where I was going, figure out what I was doing, it was very empowering, even though it wasn't really that big of a deal, but to me, it was very empowering because I kind of had forgotten my power, and I got it back because I was making those decisions. And so if you're scared, it really helps if you do things that scare you. Because every time you do something it doesn't have to be some crazy thing like skydiving, but, getting lost somewhere and having to figure out how to get out of that. Or, what else? Just anything that's a little bit risky to you. If you're scared of boats, going in a boat. Wherever that fear lies, facing that fear head on, as long as it's not something that's actually going to physically hurt you, will help you with your anxiety. Because it's going to give you your power back and remind you that you can overcome things. Even though it's scary, you can get through it. And that's what you need to be reminded of a lot of times. I think anxiety stems from a feeling of powerlessness and of not having control over something. And they say, anxiety means you're living in the future. And so it's just, that fear that things are going to happen that you can't control, and that's life. I mean, you can't control anything. Life just happens. You can plan for stuff, and you can decide what you want and move in the direction and have goals, but, I mean, you can't plan for everything, So there's always going to be surprises, and you have to let that be okay. And you have to let your feelings be okay. And yeah, so those are the things that help me with my anxiety. Again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, so obviously this isn't professional advice, but these are the things that help me. And if you are dealing with anxiety, do know that you don't have to deal with it forever. There's things you can do so that you can get over it. I haven't had panic attack or really any anxiety. I once in a while I'll get it here and there, and then I just remind myself I don't have anxiety, and I'm over it, and just get do those things that I mentioned. So anyway, I hope that helps you. I would love to invite you to join our Facebook group, our Rituals Inc. Facebook group. It's a free group, and I'll put a link below this video. And also, I'm creating a few awesome group coaching programs that I would love for you to join, and I'll put those in the Facebook group as well. But I look forward to connecting with you, and if you like my video, please subscribe and like and share, and I will see you in the next video.